A priest and a taxi driver both died and went to heaven. And St. Peter was at the pearly gates waiting for them. And St. Peter said to the taxi driver, "Come with me." So the taxi driver did as he was told and followed St. Peter to a mansion. And it had everything you could imagine, from a bowling alley to an Olympic-sized swimming pool. "Oh my goodness, thank you," said the taxi driver. Next, St. Peter led the priest to a rough old shack with a bunk bed and a little old television set. "Well, I think you're a little mixed up," said the priest. "This isn't right. Shouldn't I be the one who gets the mansion? I mean, after all, I was a priest. I went to church every Sunday and I preached God's word." "Yes, that's true," St. Peter rejoined. "But during your sermons, people slept. When that taxi driver drove, people prayed." So no sleeping. So we're continuing our exploration of the fifth agreement. And as we were energetically connected to being impeccable with the word during our meditation, I wanted to point out this little prop this morning. In our class on Wednesday night, Jennifer brought forth what she had heard. When we are being impeccable with our word, that we check in, is it true, is it necessary, and is it kind? And so Carol brought in from her middle school this morning a little expanded version of this, which I think is so great. In middle school now, before you think or before you speak, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? Is it kind? I think these are great ways to check in if we're being impeccable with our word. How'd you do this past week? Yeah? Better? Better? Are you being gentle with yourself? I hope so. Yeah, because this is an exploration. We're on the journey of awakening. And awareness is key. That's the foundation. So today, we're looking at the second agreement because, we're making new agreements with ourselves. Just to review, we've been domesticated, and we're not a victim to that. However, we have made certain agreements with ourselves based on what we've been taught. And a lot of them are simply not true. And so again, on this journey of awakening, what we're doing is we're waking up to what we have said that we agree to. That's just simply not the truth of what we are. And so these new agreements that Don Jose and Don Miguel are teaching us in the fifth agreement are ones that can support us in knowing more deeply the truth of what we are. And so today's second agreement is not taking things personally. Now, okay, here's a scenario. You're walking down the street, minding your own business, and someone comes up to you and they say, "You are a selfish, mean person." And they just walk away. How do you feel? How would you feel? If it ouches you, somehow you have let that into your heart. And somewhere, even though you can say, this person doesn't know me at all, if you feel it and it ouches, some little teeny part of you believes it. So, what do we do with that? See, the thing is, what we're learning is that everyone lives in their own story. Because of the way we've been domesticated, we have our own perceptions, and we view people according to those perceptions and according to the beliefs that we believe, that we're still in agreement with. Another story that the authors point out, which I loved, was picture this. Picture you walk into a mall, and it's a mall of movie theaters. And so you walk in, and to the left, you see on the marquee of the first theater, your name. That's the feature film. And so you walk into the theater because you're really curious, and you see one person watching the screen. And you notice that person is you. And that person is eating their popcorn. Would you hold the popcorn up, please? I was going to try. I know. I thought a prop might be kind of fun. Use your imagination. It's okay. Okay, so that person is just sitting there eating their popcorn, paying no attention to you, even though you try to engage them. This person's you. And they are tunnel visioned. They are spellbound. They are transfixed by this movie on the screen. And you start to notice, wow, this is just a movie of my life. And I see all the players. I see my mom. I see my dad. I see my siblings, whatever. I see my teachers. And you're like, yeah, that's exactly the way it played out. But still, again, when you try to engage with you are sitting there eating your popcorn, transfixed on the screen. And you're like, well, I've had enough of this. I'm going to go to the next movie theater. And you see your mom's name on the marquee. You're like, oh, this is going to be interesting. So you walk into that theater, and you see one person sitting in the audience, and it's your mom. And she's sitting there with her popcorn, totally transfixed, totally spellbound on the film. And you sit next to her, she totally ignores you, and you start viewing her film. And you go, wait a minute, no, that's not the way it happened. No, that's not the way our family was. That's not the way I am. And you try to engage her in a conversation about it, and she's completely transfixed. So you're like, well, I've had enough of this. So you leave that theater. And then the next theater you see is your spouse, or your beloved, your partner, maybe a past boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And you walk into that, and you see that person. You see how it's going to play out. See, the thing is, we all live in our own story. We all live in our own movie that we've created. And if we think we're going to talk somebody out of it, good luck with that. Notice how it works with us. Yeah. And so, if someone comes up to you and they insult you, what would happen if we could suddenly just have the awareness, wow, this person's in their own movie. This person's in their own story. And they are seeing me through the lens of their perceptions, through the lens of their limiting beliefs. I found this kind of nifty little Bible verse in the Hebrew Bible in Ecclesiastes that said, do not take to heart all the things that people say, lest you hear your servant cursing you. Well, hopefully we don't have servants. But the point is, don't listen to what other people are saying, even when you hear them gossiping about you. Even when what they are saying is not true. Because remember, we live in a virtual reality. We make it all up, folks. We're making it all up every day according to the story that we're living from, according to the movie that we're living in. And so when we can just awaken to that very simple truth, see, the Toltec wisdom in this book is very simple. When we can just remember that every person that we come across, including ourselves, is living from their own story and from their own movie, what we can then start doing is release taking things personally. And when we stop taking things personally, wow, do we let go of a lot of drama in our life. A lot of fear, a lot of pain, when we don't take on another person's story, when we don't take on their lack of awareness. When we don't take things personally, anger, jealousy, envy, competition, comparison, fear, sadness can disappear from our experience. And folks, to me, that's freedom. Someone can gossip about you all day, and you are immune to their poison, says Don Miguel and Don Jose. Taking nothing personally supports us in breaking old patterns and limiting beliefs that keep us trapped. Because remember, the words that we speak either create heaven or they create hell. The beliefs that we believe are what generate the words that we speak. And see, keeping this agreement, you begin to see more clearly the agreements you have made that cause suffering. And then you begin to let them go. And you also start to trust yourself more. See, we have been programmed to feel like we are responsible for the experience of other people. We have been programmed to believe that I am responsible for how you feel, how you see things. And see, folks, when we start taking things personally, we start to trust and make more choices, more responsible choices, because we know what's right for us. We can trust ourselves. Here's a quote from the book that I thought was so powerful. If you keep this agreement, you can travel around the world with your heart completely open, and no one can hurt you. You can say, I love you, without fear of being ridiculed or rejected. You can ask for what you need. You can say yes or you can say no, whatever you choose, without guilt or self-judgment. You can choose to follow your heart always. Then you can be in the middle of hell and still experience inner peace and happiness. You can stay in your state of bliss, and hell will not affect you. You are free. You are free. So this week, let's take on this one. Let's take on getting still and just reflecting. Where are you suffering? Where are you feeling hurt? Where are you feeling judged? And ask yourself, I know I'm in my own story. Am I seeing this from a limited perspective? What other agreement can I make here that will support me in an experience of freedom? Let's not take things personally. Let's take it on this week. Want to do it together? Yeah, let's do it together. All right, let's take a deep breath. And let's affirm together. As I let go of taking things personally, I am free. Yes, and so it is.